How you doing today?
Hey, brother E. Doing pretty good. Yeah, where was that?
Pretty busy today?
Yeah, playing catch up. A lot of catch up work. Nothing like, major. Just a lot of catch up. I haven't sent out the PDF for health and wellness I need to make up for my session. So
Okay.
I'll be doing PDFs back to back today. Uh, but it's good. It's not good.
Nothing wrong with that. Busy is good.
hmm Busy paying
How's
bills.
right? How's the baby?
Baby's doing good. She good. She been we've been getting her she hasn't gone off the rails so far. It's more explosive diapers than we used to deal with, but other than that, we good on that. Trying to get wifey. Her book came out and I haven't really had a chance to market it the way that
Okay.
she wanted to do it for her birthday, which is Monday, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, when there's a way to
Responsibilities.
market it that she should have done, but it's whatever. So it's
What,
whatever.
what's the book about?
She has a cult. She has a cookbook. She has a company called
Oh,
Model
okay.
Kitchen, and it's her cookbook, and it's working.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Mhm.
Congratulations to
I'll
you
tell her.
guys on that, though.
Yeah, it's she. Her baby's work in progress. I told her we got 10 years. This is a ninth year together. So I was like, you got 10 years to get your act together. And she's done it. She's done it. It's just she came from like Drake's thing. Came started from the bottom, now we here. She really
Right, right. I feel you on
really
that.
started from the bottom. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. She gonna be who she is, which is
Mm.
headstrong and not listening and then come back and so yeah.
Say, I think we should do it your way.
Right after the fact.
Right, right.
That works
Very,
now.
very little apology.
Yeah, almost none.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hard. It's hard, man. I was like, yeah. I guess when you get it, as you get older in age, it becomes a little easier. Because I'll say sorry real quick, but my wife, she's younger than me also, and it's a uphill battle. Apologies.
It's with mine is definitely home training. Like her father was never he'd be wrong all the time, but never want to
Mm,
apologize. If you grow up seeing
right.
that. And then
Yeah.
also it feels like she was really trying to be um not a whatchamacallit, not a submissive wife. So, so check it out, Tay, real quick though. My child's trying to get in. I got the door. I got the you gotta get these plastic
Oh, the
cups.
one,
Yes.
bro. I
Oh,
already got him. Already got him. All you hear is rattling.
yes.
They- they'll walk away eventually.
Yeah. But then right now, like 2.5, she ain't gonna maybe by 3.5 she'll get it. But then by then, I'll be like, look, she'll understand. Open the door, pop pop. Open the door. But
Right.
yeah, I just got to because the two she just started opening the bathroom door. Like we don't have you can't really like lock that. It's lockable from the inside, from the outside. So I don't feel like replacing the knob. Um, so I was looking around. I was like, oh snap. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the best. So it looks like we got a pretty good group of people here. So first and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to welcome everyone that's in the group for our chat today. Today we got Dr. Martin with us, and he's going to be expressing to us the importance of how to optimize our LinkedIn profiles and the importance for that. I think in professional development is that LinkedIn allows you to pretty much market yourself, and it allows you to um, do a lot of different things. So Martin is definitely going to take the helm on that and show us some ways in which we can use that and to optimize it for not only our businesses but to better market ourselves. So go ahead if you want to go take it off, and we'll start.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to real quick take a by show of numbers in the chat. How many of you are on LinkedIn for your corporation that you work for, 9 to 5, and then the type of one, and then how many are on LinkedIn the dual purposes? You have a company, you have a side hustle, or you have a company, and you have a 9 to 5. Do a number 2. And then lastly, how many of you on LinkedIn, just because somebody told you need to be on LinkedIn, you have no idea why you're on LinkedIn? Do a number 3. Um, so the content, usually I'm talking to an audience of entrepreneurs. And so I realized today, I was like, oh, I don't really have, and I really tried to dive deep into Black men that I know that are on LinkedIn that work for companies and have corporate jobs. And I don't have a lot in my circle. I do have one that I'm going to show, um, brother John Graham. And the thing about John, though, he's that he has autonomy in his corporate job, which means that the corporate company that came to him that got him away from his original job, they knew that John does speaking gigs and that he was writing a book. And so John actually was one of my clients from 2021 or 2022. He wrote a book and he asked me some guidance about when to release it. And I said, hey, you should release it on Juneteenth. And he was like, I love it. This book is called Plantation Theory. And so I'm going to use John's, he's the best that I can figure out who the company knows what he's doing as a side hustle. And they have approved his side hustle, so to speak. And actually, this company works for Shaker. They wooed him away from his last company. So if we look real quick, he was at Amgen, and so now he's a VP at Shaker. And what they do is, recruitment headhunters. So that
So
said,
Doctor,
yeah,
I'm just gonna be before you proceed, can you give a brief introduction of yourself so everybody know what you do, and then as far as your question, we have majority of twos on there, so um, that's the consensus on that.
thank you. Yeah, so real quick, I started in tech in the 80s and was blessed to be able to um, work for a local company. What's the name? Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. I grew up in Jersey, worked for this company that was a dual company for the state of New York and New Jersey. And so because of that, I was able to go to IBM to be trained at the age of 15 on how to network IBM AT and XT computers. Fast forward, moved to New York, hung out in what's called Fort Greene area of Brooklyn. At that time, Black Planet was being developed. I don't know if you may remember Black Planet or maybe know of Black Planet, but there was a website called Black Voices. And the second site that came out that was for Black people was called Black Planet. The founder of Black Planet lived in my neighborhood, and I was running an internet cafe back then called Cocoa Bar. And Cocoa Bar was the first Black-owned internet cafe in America. It was owned by Spike Lee, Dana Owens, which is Queen Latifah, Tracy Chapman, and Rebecca Walker. Is Alice Walker's daughter. And it was a really cool spot. So people would come and hang out. And Omar Wasu was creating Black Planet, and he would come and use our internet cafe. And this is going back, like I said, 90, 95, 96, 97. This is an article. You can just Google Cocoa Bar. It's a whole bunch of great history around us in tech, especially on the East Coast. So while that was happening, there was also something happening in Manhattan called New York New Media Association, NYMA. And NYMA was the first time that New Yorkers got together to phrase what we wanted to call ourselves on the East Coast, which was Silicon Alley. And at that meeting, that first meeting, which I attended and remember, it was uh, Jason Linux came up with Silicon Alley Reporter, which was a magazine for. So because of that, being around that whole space back then, I was able to take that information and translate it into a radio show. And I was on the air on WHCR 0.93 FM for 13 years talking tech. And so fast forward from there, Twitter comes out. I'm on Twitter as I Love Black Women. I was the first person on Twitter with the word Black in her name. And my background with tech from Fort Greene in 90s days translated over to Twitter in early days. Few of us, Wayne Sutton, myself, um, April Davis, and another brother who unfortunately just passed, Mike Street, we were all using the hashtag Black, and that became Black Twitter, jumping fast to kind of now, post-COVID, there's a thing called Black LinkedIn, and Black LinkedIn was a story that New York Times wrote, um, and it covered people like John in the story. So this phrase, Black LinkedIn, was phrased from a New York Times article. I took that article and created a group along with 4 other people. And we met every Sunday during COVID at 9 a.m. And we formed a group of 6,000 people. So my community that run has about 1,500 Black professionals in it. We ran it through really Clubhouse. And once Clubhouse fell off, we decided to just be a group on LinkedIn and we tap in occasionally. So hopefully that helps y'all.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. So getting back to what we're here for today. So if you have, so everybody's doing dual things. And so one question I would have is everybody to answer 2, what's your dominant, where do you make your money? Where are you most concerned about attracting attention? Is it your corporate space or is it your side hustle? And if I strongly recommend if you have a side hustle while in corporate America, you want to make sure that they know, because it's going to get weird and probably not great for you. If you pop up on LinkedIn and you set up a separate LinkedIn and somebody stumbles upon it, like, oh, this is Bassy. I didn't know Bassy was, hanging out with Black men, Black executive men. And what happens, they start talking. We've dealt with this a lot in Black LinkedIn and advise people how to navigate that space when their corporate, comes for them, so to speak, because they are on LinkedIn as an author or on LinkedIn as a nonprofit owner. So you want to make sure that there's some conversation you have with HR or your boss, or, and make sure you send writing before you do anything on LinkedIn. I strongly recommend that. Make sure you get it right. But if so, this is an example for corporate. John has decided to make sure Shaker is #1. But that said, he still does a lot of posts around whatever he's working on. And so this is a post about plantation. This is the article from the New York Times about Black LinkedIn. And then he will, do occasionally things that he wants to talk about, like a podcast or what have you. And he'll post it to his LinkedIn because I'm trying to see. I don't know, my computer's going slow. So this had nothing to do with Shaker. And this is his TikTok. His TikTok is Instagram 1906. So he has a decent sized following over on TikTok also, which again has nothing to do with Shaker, has to do with his book, Plantation Theory, and what he does in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space as a speaker, which is separate from Shaker. So the first thing we notice is John has a decent sized profile picture. He's prominent in it. You don't see the background, it's not taken away. Kind of the color matches the color over here slightly. I don't know if you noticed that, but that's a big thing on LinkedIn. If you color match as much as possible, I'm gonna try Darren. One of the top people to help you do that is this guy named Darren Valentina. He has really good I don't know if is he in Ireland also? I'm not sure. Shrewsbury, that's not Ireland, is it? Um, Bassy, I'm not sure. But anyway,
Oh,
his
it's in the UK. It's in the United Kingdom.
okay, cool, thank you. So I'm addicted to BritBox, by the way, Bassy. So I'm back and forth watching stuff from the UK or Ireland, and it's like I think I know how the continent works, right? But I've never been to the UK or Ireland. So thank you for
Shrewsbury is in like middle of the UK.
gotcha. I don't know if you've seen this thing called Harry Wild, but it's a really good show about a detective, Jane Seymour, and has a black she has a black sidekick, a young 16-year-old Irish kid who's black, and it's a really good show. Anyway, so Darren believes strongly in color matching, and that's one of the things that makes your profile stand out, makes you attractive. He has a service to help you, but he also I'm surprised he doesn't have it here. Wow. Okay, that's kind of a fail. He has a thing that he sells for $60 that helps you analyze your your profile and gives you a kind of good lay of the land. So what I'm gonna do with Black executive men is I'm gonna give you the tools I use. I'm not trying to build customers here. I want to make sure all of you have everything that I have access to, as long as you're interested. And so Darren is one of the places I go. I bought his program, which is $60. And then there's another guy that I'm using here as you scroll down named Richard. It goes over it. But the first thing you want to deal with is definitely your picture and your banner. Now, if you're going to Canva to do one, good example is one of the new clients I got. He doesn't have it right. So we're redoing his banner. Gonna show you. So this you don't want. You don't want words where your picture is over the words. That's not helpful to you. Can't see his name, not helpful. Background, don't know what that is. His suit, just merges into it's just a lot of stuff. Now, he is in Akron. He has been hired by the city of Akron to establish and has a nonprofit that he runs with his daughters. And he's hired to speak at schools all the time. They run what they call PBIS series of positive workshops for kids that I didn't know that the government, the Board of Education, they have to run these PBISs. So what I was telling him is that, you have this information here, which is great, but your company and your main company, so this is his nonprofit, his daughters, this is his company, they have no logo. And what happened is that he did fill out the experience section, but he did not make a page for his company. So I don't know if you guys have ever done your own company page, but it's real simple. You click here for business, scroll down, create a company page. Obviously, you want to have a logo when you create a company page. So this right here is kind of a red flag at a national company. Is like, well, what is this? Why is there, a graphic? Is that something he just threw together? Like, he's been doing it 14 years. He's excellent at what he does. LeBron organization has hired him. He's got a lot of great accolades, but his LinkedIn doesn't really show that. So working on getting a new profile layout of his design of his profile to more showcase. So, but real quick, I wanted to show you in Canva, it's not called a cover, the LinkedIn cover. It's called LinkedIn, I think, banner. That's what's slightly confusing. Most people go to Canva and they try to find something. So this is the section you want to do LinkedIn banner, and then scroll down till you find something that speaks to your spirit. I recommend, obviously, I said that means that. So like with this, you don't have to put your picture on the banner because your picture is right here. So, but this is good. I'll probably put it down at the bottom here. And so if you're an author, put your book over here. See, let me see an example of a sister. This is Sister Sharon. Where is Sister Sharon? Easterly? Yeah, Sharon has a good one. So this is one of my other clients who's a HR executive. Now, she changed it. This is not the, but so this again should be these two pieces. I'll tell Sharon I'm moving down here. And unfortunately, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I will have to do like this. I have to increase, I have to zoom in to see the words that you don't want. This is for everywhere on social media. I should not have to zoom in or like expand the picture to see your words. So we can see, if I go back to the regular view, we can see that it says speaker, trainer, author, probably pretty decently, but you can't read her AI strategy, her document integrity, the whatever that says, denials and access. We should not have to do that. So you don't want folks to have to zoom in to see that. Next year, I'm going to work on a course called Aesthetics Matters. And it's really going to be about that, about how aesthetically pleasing are whatever we're doing, whether it's your book, your PDF, your, any material you have for the public to consume. It does matter. And it needs to be something that's thought through. To me, right now, we're not thinking through. We're just putting stuff up. Like, okay, because everybody's moving so fast and we're trying to get things done. But aesthetics do matter, and it makes you feel. It makes the person, especially if you go cross platforms and they have the same exact thing. Like, oh, I'm right here. It makes you feel comfortable. Okay, so we got the banner and the cover picture, and your profile picture. Now, 5 things to keep in mind: commitment to what you're doing, whatever that is. Character. What type of character you're showing? Are you the person that's gonna promote everybody else and say, I love what BEM is doing. Hey, I love what Elliot is doing. Hey, I love what Doc is doing. Or are you centering yourself in the conversation? You need to decide the type of character you show up as, then the content, then building a community, which we are a part of the community now. So you got like 100 shares, you got like 70 likes, you got like, if you work this right, these men in this community are going to support you, right? And support your post. We ask for LinkedIn every time somebody comes into our group. So we should be able to really become what I call a digital street team and a support network for each other on LinkedIn or even, Instagram, YouTube, wherever. The first thing that most people deal with is the call to action. I think that now this is what they tell you, so I have it in here, but just so you know, call to feel, call to think, call to interaction, call to respond, to connect. So these are different things that people put at the top of a post, but I really like this, and this is what I use. So today is Thursday. I'm probably going to talk about my toddler for Toddler Thursday, or I'm going to talk about a technique. And usually I post somebody else's video for techniques, and they go over through the technique. Like there's a video I'm probably going to use of one of the Wayans brothers talking about how to think about ourselves. And it talks about using 6 lines of text. You can use hashtags, but keep it 3 to 5. Again, what's your call to action or call to think or call to feel? Have a signature way you sign off. And it says, comment on at least 3 posts after you publish within 15 minutes. So it doesn't have to be you comment, like you gotta wait for people to comment, which again, why y'all should be dropping your posts, but some of you do, but a lot of us don't drop the post. I don't like to like, I post about my podcast, but I don't post about every post that I put on LinkedIn in the group. That said, I do post about when I do my podcast and that we go live. So everybody should be doing that so that you can have the comments to comment on. What that does on the algorithm is push you up higher. I'm gonna put all this, you guys are gonna have all this in a PDF by tomorrow. So, you don't have to copy and screenshot anything. This is just going through what the algorithm does. Richard is one of the top people that I follow that understands the LinkedIn algorithm. He puts out a free report It's 285 pages every year. Usually does it around February. So, you know, I'm gonna put a link to the free report also. But it's really interesting. It's a good report on what happens on LinkedIn as far as the algorithm goes. One other thing I like about what he says is right for people. You can optimize for the algorithm, but you know, our community to me is around Black excellence and also what you guys are doing in your individual careers or individual spaces. So talks about doing it in the morning, which is true. I also find in the afternoon you can do things and get just as much traction. Engage with others prior and after what I just said we're going to do in that group. Obviously consider hashtags. Now, if you're selling on LinkedIn, and I would like to do a separate conversation, so I'm not going to go deep into selling on LinkedIn because it is an art to selling on LinkedIn. You just can't say, go buy my book. That doesn't work. You have to breadcrumb things to people. And then on your profile, for instance, I'll show you a good example of a profile that works. Oh, Craig. Craig Dean. Davis Dean. Who's Craig? Yeah, Dean. Okay, so Craig has a community for $9 a month that I'm a part of. So you're seeing it right in his profile. When you scroll down to the feature section, you're gonna see everything you need to win on LinkedIn. That's the community. So if I click on that, it would go to, and you have this, anybody has this ability. It goes right to his community on school, and then you would join, you pay your money with that. So you're leaving his LinkedIn. LinkedIn didn't pop up and said, hey, you're leaving LinkedIn. Notice that how that happened. It did sometimes when people do those posts or create that, not in the feature section, LinkedIn tells you, hey, wait a minute, are you sure you want to leave LinkedIn? Because you're getting ready to leave LinkedIn. Notice because he put it in a feature and it's a link, it goes directly like that. So that's one of the things about selling. Also, you can get something free like a lead magnet and boom. So there's a slight art to selling on LinkedIn. It needs to flow a certain way. You just can't pop up and say, go buy this. That doesn't, unless you're Stu or Mike Tyson. And these are, do's and don'ts would have that. I want to jump down because I know we have only a few minutes left. You'll get this. This is from last year. It hasn't changed much. I'm trying to see anything really. This is true. Selfies delivered. I don't know how many of you let me turn off this so you guys can see my phone. How many of you, if you go to your LinkedIn app right now, can see the word, open the app at the bottom left-hand corner, do you see the word video? Does anybody see that word?
You talking about within your mobile app or on
Yes,
on?
sorry. Within your mobile app.
Let's check it out. My LinkedIn. No, I don't see videos. I just see network, post, notifications, and jobs.
Okay. I'm going to do something with my camera so you guys can see this. Back. No, choose virtual background. Say none. Okay, cool. So you guys can kind of see my phone. In the new LinkedIn, the new way it's gonna look is there's a video button right here, and all of a sudden videos just pop up, and it's just like a TikTok.
What? So we got to download the new app or upgrade it?
No, it's in beta, so they've given it to those of us that are, LinkedIn, what do you call it, creators or I don't know. You know what's funny about my situation is because I go toe to toe at LinkedIn when they have something negative when it comes to Black people. So I'm never included. I'm included, but not officially. That's what I should say. And the woman in charge of diversity and inclusion is a sister, and she's part of Black LinkedIn. So I think that's why I get grandfathered into a lot of stuff, but it hasn't come out yet. But there are some folks who are official creators and they have it. I'm just not official. So anyway, reason I brought that up was that your video content will be very important coming soon. And so that's something that we are, I want to do another class on or another conversation maybe in August. Trying to keep it to once a month, not to make you guys LinkedIn. But LinkedIn. So anywho, video becomes very important, and they're just picking random videos. They're not like, you have to be a high net worth, person of social status. So a social capital, you don't have to have 100,000 followers. You can have 1,000 there picking your video. So you do want to think about how you show up. And one thing I will say too, something new that I've been doing is the graphic posts that I do. When I do them, let me show you. Where am I at? I am, yeah, okay, cool. So in Canva, let me see if I can find an example. I don't know if I have the example. What I've realized is that the cell phone screen size is important, especially on a LinkedIn scenario where everybody is scrolling, through their phone view. So the size you pick to do something is important. And so when you're in a Canva situation, the size I like to do a graphic post would be 1080 by 1920. So 1080 by 1920, I think it's this one. Yeah. So it's this type of size, like a real size. So if I'm going to go and share this and go to download, and I'm going to download as a video, but let's say I was downloading it as a JPEG, I'm making sure this size right here. That's taking up the whole phone size. That's giving me a nice real estate. I got your screen. Even though when you're on LinkedIn, it shows up as a square. But when you press that square, boop, you got the whole phone screen. So a little trick and that's where videos, with LinkedIn at least, they're taking up your whole phone size. So everybody's eyes are going to go to. So if you have this little square, that naturally their eyes they're square, but then when they're trying to read or something, they click it, it's just still another square. They're like, it's like a different feeling emotionally. So you want to feed that, especially since LinkedIn is like pushing the entire screen size will be taken up by video. Our graphics should follow that. So little tiny nuances, things like that. The recap. You need to have a content strategy. You need to make your content short, snackable. Don't just post a link with something. You want to use a teaser or summarize, like these little, things like this little squares or little arrows, intentionally put, like sometimes people will say, I'm pinning this to this comment. There's no pinning anything, but they will use the emoji of the thumbnail. I don't know if you guys seen that. That's the red thumb tap rather. That's one of those things that makes your content better looked at and people are like, oh wow. Engaging comment on at least 20 posts. That's unfortunately true. My LinkedIn is crazy, and I only have less than 30,000. So when I go to my notifications, it's like, oh God, I'm just when I go to my home, when I go to notifications, I'm looking at people. My notifications is telling me people that I follow that I want to actually comment on. Like when Craig posts something, I definitely want to go over Craig's and to say, hey Craig, actually he's talking about introvertism. Cool. I have a client who's creating the Society of Introverts for Black folks. So I'm gonna tag her in this post and tell him I really appreciate the post, blah, blah, blah. What that does for his post is it pushes his post up. That's one. Two, it reminds Craig, hey, Martin is cool. I really need to go over and check out what Martin is doing. So therefore, when I come to Craig and ask him, let's partner together on a podcast or whatever, in his mind, he's like, I remember, that's right, Martin is the guy who always comments on my posts. So really looking at LinkedIn to, as we said, to grow your reach by engaging. We already got a engaging community, so that's good. surprise your audience, right? Do something different. And this is a routine kind of that we do post in the morning, 15 minutes notification, engagement, 15 minutes of responding to a post. That's throughout the day. It's not just in the morning. 20 minutes of engagement with your peers, 10 minutes of scrolling. And now with the video, it's gonna be really easy because it's pushed to you, so you don't have to scroll. Last thing is this company called Shield has a really cool program. There's also another program I find a name to give you guys as a newer program. But what Shield does, it analyzes and it looks to improve things on your LinkedIn profile. Hopefully that was helpful.
Super, super. Does anyone in the group have any questions for Dr. Pratt personally?
This was super helpful. Thank you so much, Dr. Pratt. I actually wanted to reach out to you offline because you had mentioned some things yesterday about business funnel, sales funnel, business type thing. Something that you had said that resonated with me because
Content is a revenue shark that we're not tapping into as Black folks.
yes, exactly. So I think so I'll still find some that we'll look forward to finding some time on the calendar with you to kind of talk about that more. But certainly really love this LinkedIn masterclass. You know, um, I'm already doing what you have been describing, but just to put a fine point on this information, it is very helpful. And as such, I dropped my op-ed in the chat so that you all could please share, repost this June Men's Health Month op-ed that I drafted for this month. And so, but this was fantastic. You know, I'm still trying to, so because I'm a new father and wife, and I have projects and other things going on.
Yeah.
Really, I have to be strategic about my type and level of engagement.
Yep.
I right now I usually won't respond to all comments that are posted on my page.
Yep.
I will, like at a minimum, like or love or support, what have you. But I just found that being able to kind of given your bandwidth
Yep.
and your goals, I think that all is helpful to determine how you want to move in that space. But certainly,
Absolutely.
this was fantastic, and I want to thank you for sharing this information.
Yeah, definitely. You can't respond to everything. It doesn't, and it's a great dopamine feel, but other than that, it gets you no money, gets especially if you got a child, like you do a newborn, a new child, or young child. And congratulations, on your degree, and also, yeah, showing up as a male and a husband at the same time and showing up on any social media platform is difficult. So you pick your battles. I totally align with that. I'm playing around with YouTube right now on some short stuff and learning kind of how the algorithm is treating my content. Once I learn how the algorithm treats the content, then I have a decision to make. Do I want to show up every day, or am I showing up like my goal on LinkedIn was about 7 years ago to get a good amount of African country citizens to follow me, and also Bangladesh, Pakistan, and well, that's what I got to show you guys. Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India to follow me because I had a product that I wanted to sell to Africa and also, to African countries and also to those three. And I had found basically founders who made it to America. How did they succeed from back, and then showing Kenyans or Tanzanians or Ghanaians like this is the top person in whatever field, and this is how they made it successfully, and charge something like maybe like $2.50 for that. But so I followed newspaper articles from back home, quote unquote, wherever back home was. And I used the hashtag invest in that country. So like invest Kenya or invest Bangladesh or Bangladesh lifestyle or Bangladesh life. And so people that saw that comment resonated with them. They went to follow me and found out because they were a commenter on that newspaper a lot. I was always following them. They're like, oh. So I went from like about 15,000 to about 25. But so my intentionality was to create this international community that I could distribute this product to. Like I said, it took 7 years because I was very, methodical about it. And so I have a really good reach in those countries but it took a while. It was not something easy to do. And I didn't, and now it looks like, oh, he was really smart. But back then it was just like, I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm trying it, see what happens. And then, along the way, you get into conversations, you're invited to speak, you're doing a bunch of things happen. And you're really, after a while, especially if you got a woman with you next to you watching you do this, and like you're just always on LinkedIn. It's like, yeah, but here's the scheme, here's the reason why. And then eventually they're like, man, it's working now. Like, yeah, it is, so you got your cheering section and you know what you're doing. So if you can involve the family and you can come up with a strategy that you feel, speaks to your soul, or a specific reason. Like I see you're in DC. I have a good friend, Charles Ellison, who writes for Politico. Charles used to be on Capitol Hill, and then my business partner, Tenji, he was on TMZ. He was the bureau chief for Washington DC. So if you're looking at the work in lobbyists or in moving the needle in policy in DC, then there's certain people you need to follow. There's certain, things that you need to comment on. Excuse me. I'm blanking on the not Brookings, but the other institute. And so you would want to follow the Brookings LinkedIn. You'd want to, there's like I think 2 or 3 analysts or research fellows that are Black over at Brookings. You want to do that. The other one, CAP. I'm not blanking on.
Yeah, so you have the Center for American Progress, which is CAP, and then you have the Urban Institute as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you shared those, even though it's a social media person, probably on LinkedIn, it's not a policy. But what happens is they're gonna talk about, this is a doctor that's always sharing that stuff at some meeting, at some staff meeting. So when you do contact them for an interview or for a podcast or a possible collaboration, they say yes because their social media person already told, like, we weren't expecting to get anybody to see it. This doctor shared it, and then he was connected to Martin Pratt. And then Martin shared it and he tagged Black LinkedIn. We went live. I don't even know how it's happened. So you're the conduit for that, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about intention. For me, it's about intentional intelligence. I call it using your intention the most intelligent way that you possibly can of the intel that you have at the moment. So a lot of us beat ourselves up for, oh, we missed this, we missed that. But the intel that you had in front of you told you to do it this way. That's fine. As you go and grow, you get more intel, and you pivot or you do something a little bit different.
Thank you.
Absolutely, bro.
Any other questions from the group?
Yeah, I had a question on the statement. So the statement was around, I think I posted it in the chat that we should try and share our LinkedIn post in the chat so that people can like and share it. My question was that, in LinkedIn, you have, I believe, showcase and company page. What's the difference?
I can't remember where I see showcase at. Where is showcase at again? Because I know a company page, but showcase, I'm trying to remember.
So when you when I look at my profile, I have some showcase pages. If I can, maybe I'll show you one of them.
Yes. Can you make Brother Bassi? I don't think I have rights to
make me admin for presenter for a second. I'll just show you.
Right. Just make it multiple people can share. I think I know what you're talking about, the Bassi. But I'm
trying to use showcase for like leadership development or for like procurement, so for like topics versus using the company as a company page. I don't know if that's the right way to use it or not. So that was more the question.
I think that if I was you, this is what I tell my clients. So I say share to your company page, and then from your company page, share to your profile. The reason why that is, like somebody like me, I may not even know that Bassi has a company page. I know you as Bassi, and so I'm like, oh, cool, Bass just popped this up. But then when you share it from your company page, then I'm like, oh, snap, let me go somebody like me, I'm gonna go like your company page. And people that are, more progressive or alert or have emotional intelligence, well, we don't want to just show love to you. We want to show love to your projects. So the more that you embrace the projects that you're working on your page, but from the originator, whatever that originator page is, the showcase. I know it. I'm trying to find an example of showcase again.
Let me share my screen.
Elliot, are you able to do
Was it
that?
let you?
Okay.
Yeah, I can share my screen now. Can you guys see my
There you
screen?
go. It's coming up.
Okay, cool. So this is the company page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consulting. So, but then when I go down my profile, I've got different company pages, but I've also got what's called showcase. So I've used it more for like topics than to use it for like the main company. So I don't know if that's the right way to do it.
Click on, let me see what it looks like. Because I didn't remember. That's why I was like blanking on where the showcase at. And then what does it say? Okay, so
It looks like a company page. It looks same
right,
as the company page.
right,
So
right.
there's not much difference in it.
Yeah, so I have to research. So what I would have done, right, is well, one tell for me about showcase usually is, you know what? It may not be that. It may be something. Let me before I answer the question, let me just check one thing when I see mine because I have let me make this smaller. It might be something totally different than I'm thinking. So page, no. Let me see. Let me see if I see it on my map. So I was made I was made an admin on somebody else's page.
Okay.
And it shows up as showcase, I think. I'm trying to see if I have too many pages. So I think that one, I almost want to say if you go to the page, can you dang it, man. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Hold on one second. Top 100. Top 100. Top 100. Pages of companies. Top 100. I'm trying to see. Okay, cool. No, that's not it. That's not the page. Dang it. I was trying to find an example of one that I could test, but what I was going to say was that to see if LinkedIn sometimes says claim this page if you're not nobody's claimed it. So if that's not the actual name of the company, then I don't know why would I showcase it. I would rather you have everything under the name of the company. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna showcase this project. That still doesn't help. And LinkedIn is they're rolling out a new thing for company pages where they want you to promote your company page. And so they're going to charge extra for like they do with the sales navigator and everything for personal, they're gonna start doing it for company pages. What that tells me is that they are now turning their attention away from profiles to boost up the company pages section of the page, and they're actually going back to groups. I gotta tell Jewel that they're actually contacting our group owners and they're saying, hey, we're gonna roll out some new tools for the groups. So that's gonna be finally, like, it's been like 10 years since they updated groups. But I would have the project highlighted on the company page. I don't know that I would showcase the project. But again,
So basically,
I'm trying to figure out.
Sorry?
No, I'm saying I was trying to figure out to make sure that it just may be that you're not the company, you're not what I think it might be also is that I'm not the owner of the page. When I see showcase in my section, it's that I know those pages are not pages that I created. Those are pages someone else created, but they made me admin on that page.
Okay. But this showcase pages, I created them though.
Right. And so you may not be, you may not have made yourself owner. Like it's a little weird when you go to create pages, it's really weird and it doesn't make sense. This is the problem with LinkedIn. That's why it's so confusing for a lot of people. Microsoft does not do good. Oh, here we go. Okay, got it. Let me share my page and I'll show you what happens. This is where the weirdness happens. Share screen. Okay, cool. I'm glad I was still playing around. So you can showcase a page, make a showcase page. I would always stick with company pages. I would never make a showcase page. And I suspect eventually they're going to let this go. And there's going to be a third option here. Because you need the company, you need, and that's the other thing too. If it's showcasing a page, those showcase pages should have a logo on them that points you back to the mothership. So all the pages we create, they need to have aesthetics that match our offline, your brand kit or the colors you chose or the style font or the domain name. Like everything should match up. What's going to happen is people are really trying to, it's happened on LinkedIn already. They're verifying ID. People are really trying, they're getting scammed left and right anyway. But there's some obvious stuff that like, yo, that's not a real legit company. So one of the real legit company obvious things is going to be not having a logo.
Yep.
I hope that was helpful, Bassy. And yeah, we should be sharing it to your question in the chat with your statement. We should definitely be sharing it with the group. All our posts, I think like let's say for instance, like yesterday, it was brother Allen, what he's doing in transportation. I probably wouldn't, if I was him, I wouldn't share every single thing, oh, I just got this new run, I'm doing this 40K, I'll probably share that, but I wouldn't share every time he gets a new client or gets a new run. But, like what you do, a lot of the things you speaking and stuff that you do, that should definitely be shared. The projects, I mean, I'm curious to understand what you do in Ireland and a bunch of other things, just but dealing with Ireland as a Black person, period, crazy to me. So, Black in Ireland, hashtag, just you walking to get a coffee and somebody asks you some dumb question, you use hashtag Black and Irish, Black Irish or Black and Ireland. I think those are things that the audience would be interested in. And you shared it to LinkedIn, but then you came over to Black Executive Men and said, hey guys, I just posted about being a Black man asking for watermelon and at the local, farmers market and being laughed at, or whatever.
Okay. I guess last question is, should we also get people to follow company pages? So I know we posted for people to follow us as individuals. Should we do the same thing for company pages?
Absolutely. Yep. What I would suggest in that space is, so by you reposting, you almost don't have to say, please follow my page, right? But you do call to action, a call to engage. So it's like, hey, I wouldn't just say follow my page, but I would give somebody an incentive. So let's say, what's the industry you're in?
Logistics.
Okay, right. Okay, cool. So what's the top 5 things to do to make sure you can return a product? Because now I've heard that logistics now is saying that 7% of all of the $5.7 trillion that's done is 7% of that is now being focused on returns. So companies are going haywire with their return policy and making it harder for people to, even Amazon itself. So if there were 5
Returns
things,
cost so much.
right. So if there's 5 things to remember before making a purchase, so you don't have to return anything, or is there 5 things to do so you're not in return hell? Whatever that post could be, I would put that up under the company page and then share it to my profile, but I would feature it. So you can always refer people to, oh, in my profile, there's 5 things to do. In my profile is just, let's say you were on a podcast or you were somewhere public, and like, oh, follow me on LinkedIn. You're saying follow you. And then you're saying to them, in my profile, scroll down, you'll see the top 5 things to do so you don't have to worry about returning this, or 5 things to do before you purchase to make sure your return will work. And they're like, oh, that's great, Bassy. Okay. Now that post is from your company page.
Mm.
And what your language is, please follow my company page for more great stuff like this. And so you need to be intentional about creating content that helps the consumer and helps, you become more of a subject matter expert in the industry viewpoint of view. And so I have a concept of 4-way wins. So the customer wins, we win as a company, our sponsors or our partners win, and the audience that follows us win. So what you do there is you just said, you've taken some of the angst away about the logistic industry by saying, here what you can do. You've also told people why they should interact with you. And that makes you seem like a visionary and a thoughtful person. So now everybody is like, love it. Let's love Brother Duke. Let's gather around him. And so now they're waiting for you to tell them what to do next, which is to follow and engage with the content that you are intentionally posting on your company page.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks, though.
Absolutely. And I'll be hitting you up also. Like I'm really looking at creating a logistics media something. Like it's going to be more than a podcast, and it'll probably end up being 3 different things: a podcast, a magazine, and an online radio station. Because I see no one really that looks like me on the media side doing anything in logistics. And there's so many truckers podcasts I listen to. I'm a member of something called She Trucking, which is 25,000 women of color that are truckers right now in the U.S. And I think that there's a space to really grow in logistics from a media perspective and covering the stories and covering what's happening and stuff like that. So I'll reach out.
Okay, cool. So thanks, though.
Absolutely.
Sounds exciting. So much potential.
Yeah, a long-term thing for the kids. I can leave it to them and they can decide to sell it, or it's an asset. I look at media and content as an asset. Even domain names, we need to look at having that in our what happens to the domain name when we pass, and looking at that. I have bought and sold domain names. Some I'm holding on to. I'm not selling because I want to be able to give that to the kids. So.
All right.
I agree with you. I think.
So it's getting close to the wrap up time for us. If nobody has any more questions, I would definitely like to thank Dr. Pratt for giving us these nice golden tips. I'm looking at mine, and like Bassy said, there's a few things that I'm following, but there's definitely a few things that I can see can definitely improve, especially when we were talking, Martin, about the podcast and learning how to build with hemp and things like that. I feel like that video part on LinkedIn will definitely be a crucial way to do that as well. To just kind of get that education going. So I'm definitely going to be able to look out that and make some tweaks to my LinkedIn. But I definitely appreciate everyone who joined today and taking the time out to just get the time to be able to better ourselves professionally. And thank you again. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your Wednesday. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Sounds good. Peace and love.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Great presentation.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.